Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the stitch I was talking about. In your manual for your serger, if you have one, they call it the narrow overlock stitch or the rolled edge stitch. Either one of those, that's what's in your manual for the, this is the 1634D. I got it at Walmart, gosh, a couple years ago now. I think I paid $1.99 for it. It's still $199.95. But I'm going to show you how to do this rolled hem on the bottom of these Godet skirts or dresses for the doll. First of all, let's talk about the serger. If you don't have one, they're not as hard to work with as you think they are. There's 4 different threading options here. You've got your upper looper, which just tells you that the loops you're seeing is what the loops are on the top. I hope this is bright enough. Let me see if I can swing around. See if I can get a little bit brighter. Okay, well, sorry about that. Let me see if this will work better. Maybe because this light's so far close. Let's see if I can get it back a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit better. This is your upper looper, and that just means that your loops are on the top of your design. And then that's green and red on this side. And then if you turn it over, this is your bottom looper. This is what's going to be on the bottom of your stitching. So when you're using decorative thread, they say the best way to do it is put the decorative thread in your upper looper, which would give you a pretty design. This is silver metallic thread. That you can get anywhere. This one is just the Coats and Clark. This one's metallic gold. And they say when you do use the metallic threads, you're probably going to want to go with a tension of below 4, like 3 and below, so the metallic thread runs smooth. But you have to play with the tension. Sometimes it works at 4, sometimes you have to go lighter. Okay, so when I first got my machine, it was hard for me to figure out how to remember how to thread it. So basically what I did is I just divided my machine in half, and I worked my way out in both directions. So you can also think about it being the color of the rainbow. Green comes before blue on the rainbow, so you're going to want to thread your upper looper before you thread your bottom looper. So that just means your upper loops and your bottom loops. So what you do, we're going to start with our upper looper. So we're going to put our color through. We're just going to thread the whole machine red. So here's a little button at the top here. Let's see if I can bend it a little bit. That's your tension. So in this case, you're going to open up your tension so you can get your thread in there. And once your thread catches, your tension's there, so make sure you have enough to thread your machine. So the higher your number is, the more tension you have. In this case, I can't even pull my thread through. So as I go down, I'm able to pull my thread through. So if you don't have enough thread, you can always change your tension, and you can go down to even 0 if you need to pull more thread through, but there's absolutely no tension on 0. So you want to, it tells you that this is your average tension, 3 to 5. So I don't need that much thread. Okay, so that's your upper looper. And when you open up here, it gives you diagrams on how to thread your machine. Let me see if this is right where you can see it. Okay, so I'm using the green, and it's got green coating all the way down. So for me, the easiest way to thread my machine is I remove my presser foot. And the reason I do that, it's just easier for me. I don't know why, I just find it easier. There's also, your machine comes with a pair of tweezers but you can use pretty much any pair of tweezers. Unless you're really good with your eyes, you don't even need them. Okay, so your first one is your upper loops, so that goes in the green. So you just follow your diagram, green, 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 and then it's going to go through this little tab right here. So I don't know, this little arm thing here. So sometimes I get my magnifying glass out so I can see what I'm doing. But make sure your thread's all the way through. So that's your first thread. So let's put this thread behind and to the back. Okay, it's so cold and there's so much static electricity in the air, everything's just flying around. Okay, so there's your upper looper. So now we're going to thread our lower looper, which is your bottom loop on your piece of fabric. Open your tension, come down. In this case, you're going to thread blue. So we're going to go to blue, and blue comes right through. You pull this out and put that piece of thread in that, and you're going to push it in until you hear it click. Okay, see how it clicked? Okay, once you hear that click, you're going to put it through this little dial here. So if you need to, you can push that a little bit down if you need to, and then put that thread through here. Okay, this is where your tweezers come in good, and your magnifying glass if you have it. I'm going to put that through here. And I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm going to grab the thread behind there. Behind it. Okay, got it. Grab it, make sure it doesn't catch on anything, and then bring that around underneath. And now we're ready to go on that. So we're only using one needle on this rolled hem stitch, so we're going to use the right. So middle, and then we're going to work our way out. Here's your right needle and then your left needle, and these are threaded on the top. So those just come around, they catch in here. You just thread your needle like a regular sewing machine, and bring it through. Okay, so now my needle is threaded. I'm going to put that under and thread it to the back. And I'm going to put my presser foot back on. I'm going to make sure my threads are out of the way. Drop it and click it back down. I'm going to bring my threads around underneath. And had I been doing 2 needles, I would have just threaded the first threaded that needle. Okay, so let's go ahead and put my... Okay, so we have our machine threaded. See how much static electricity is? Let's look at the side of our sewing machine. Okay, this first button here is called your differential. I hope that's on the camera. Can you see that? Okay, so your average stitching is done with 1, and basically what differential means is this machine is equipped with 2 feed dogs. You have a feed dog in the front and a feed dog in the back. So because you're differential, you can adjust it. You're allowed to change your front feed dog to feed faster than your back feed dog, which allows you to do a lot of ruffling on this machine. So that's basically what it is. It just changes the feeds of the front feed to the back feed. So it's like a dual feed machine. The second one is just your stitch length. This, see if you, I don't know if you can see the designs here, but 3 is your average, and that'll give you a basic nice stitch on your sewing. Let's see if I can see that. See, this is about 3 right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. So then the lower you go, the tighter stitches you're going to get. So we want an even stitch. We want our stitches close together. So in this case, we're going to go all the way down to 4 to R. We're going to set our machine all the way down to as far as we can go to R. Now, as far as our width, we want pretty small width. So same thing. We're going to go R and R for this rolled hem. You might get different instructions in your book, but that's what I've been using for these dresses, and they seem to be working well. So only 1 needle, and the machine comes with a little hex, so you just unscrew that and you can put take a needle out or put a new needle in. Okay, so we're going to start with our tensions on our 3 wheels that we're using. We're going to start 4, 4, 4 and see how that's going to work. So I've got a little piece of fabric here that we'll check it and see how that works. So if I was using multicolors, I would want whatever my pretty color to be on the top of my fabric. So I would run this organza through with the glitter on top if I was using decorative designs. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it and see if that works. So we've got set for 1 R R for this rolled hem. So let's see how it goes. Okay, I forgot to mention something. Let's reverse here. I forgot to take out the knife. You have a knife that has to be removed. So you're going to take out your knife. The knife is what gives you, the thread wraps around your knife, and that's what spreads your stitches out when you're doing your regular finishing your edges. So we don't want that on here, so we're going to take our knife out and put it to the side. Okay, so we got that. Let's go back to where we were at now. Okay, let's try again. Let's cut that piece off. You can use your knife on, or you can use your knife off. First time I run it through, I use my knife up and cut my fabric. If I'm going to run it through more than once, like I did on the belt, I would do knife up the first time and knife down the second time. So let's see if we got a pretty good stitch going here. Let's try again. Did I like that? Not really. I don't like the way it's pulling, so I'm going to have to make some adjustments here. See how if you're not careful, you can go right off the seam. So let's go ahead and go to, I'm going to start my tension, see if it's my tension that's off. So I've got a little too much tension here, so let's go up a little bit on here. See if that's the problem. So whatever fabric you're using, you have to test until you get it to where you like it. So what might work for one might not work for the other. It could be I have too much tension on my presser foot. In that case, I'm going to want to lighten up my presser foot so it feeds easier. So let's see how this one works. That's much nicer. So I had too much tension on my presser foot. So you just have to play with it until you're happy with how it comes out, how it looks. So if I was using regular fabric, say I wanted to make that belt for a doll. So let me see if I can find, you can even double up your fabric. So let me show you how I did that strapping on that belt for that. So I'm just going to fold a piece of fabric, I'm going to run it through, and I'm going to have my cutter on. Okay, see how I did that? Okay, so now I'm going to cut this as small as it is, as small as I want my strap to be on my shoes or my belt or whatever. I'm going to just cut it down like that. And then I'm going to, I didn't get it even, did I? So, but that's not a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it through. I'm going to run it through again, but I'm going to use my presser foot as my guide as to how I want that to feed through. So let's just go ahead and feed it through. And I'm going to keep my fabric balanced with that feed dog. Okay, you can't see it anyway, but I went off the edge. So it didn't work. Let's try it again. It might be a little too narrow, but we'll see if it works. Okay, that was better. So now I've got something I can use as my belt. I can use it as a strap. I can use it as belts. I can use it for just about anything. Okay, so now we know that works. So let's go ahead and try running through. This was that sleeve I was telling you about. That sleeve right there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this through and put a hem on this sleeve. And I'm going to make sure I have my glitter up. And I'm just going to go ahead and run this through. Okay, so now I've got the finish on my sleeve, and I can just go ahead and continue to sew it without having to put a hem in it. Now I can go to my other sewing machine and I can wrap my zigzag my elastic right about an inch away from the top, and that'll be my sleeve. So I'll put on my gathering stitch, and that will be the sleeve for with the red finish instead of the white finish. Wow, that's terrible. Not a good day to too much static, but that's how you can get that nice hem on that. But it's kind of cute. It's very pretty. There's a thing called fray check that you can buy. It used to come out like water, but now it's almost like glue. I bought myself a bottle, and they say if you just put a little dab here, a little dab there, it'll stop your threads from fraying. So I bought myself. It looks almost like clear glue, and they say if you steam the edges, I don't see it anywhere right now, but I'll see if I can find it later. But that's how I've been doing the finishes on here. Pretty, very pretty. And it's something different you can do on your serger without just doing your basic finishing your edges. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.